Hello, everybody. This is the second series of videos that we're doing for the Sterling Heights Senior Center. They asked all of us instructors to do another set because people might be getting bored with the first set of tapes that we did. And I can't imagine how anybody would be getting bored in this social isolation. It's so much fun being in your house day after day after day. Anyway, we're going to try to have a little bit more fun with this. But the first thing we're going to do is what we always start with, the ankle pump. So you raise your right foot, pull the toe all the way back, rest it forward, pull it all the way back, set it down, 1 foot at a time. We're going to go through this series. And I want to make a point, what I'll do today, talk a little bit more today. This ankle pump is something that I do consistently because I know how good it is and how much it's helped my circulation. This is something that when we were in China the first time, I saw all these guys sitting at a table, and they were the older guys, and they're all doing this while they're talking and eating and doing all their stuff. And this is something that I recommend when you're watching television. Every once in a while, just do this with your feet. If you're sitting down, you're talking to people, just get this stuff going. This gets a lot of circulation moving, and it really does work. I can feel it. So one of the tough things with this is there's no jokes because there's nobody to hear to laugh at or scoff at my jokes. So I have to just kind of bring my humor to myself. So we're not going to do this for a full 5 minutes, of course, because that would be really, really boring. But I want to do this long enough so you get some benefit out of it. So one of the things I want to make sure that you know, when you're pulling the toe back, you really pull it back. When you're resting it forward, you just rest it forward. You don't try to push your foot forward. That will kind of strain it a little bit. You don't need that. But this pulling it back, you should feel all that tension behind the calf every time you do this. All right. Well, that should be getting some circulation going. So the next thing we'll do are our ears. And again, don't skip all this stuff. There's a reason that we've done this. There's a reason that they taught us all this, because it works. You really pinch and squish these guys. The top of the ear. And the tabs of the ears. And we do the arms. And one of the things I'm going to mention too is with all this time, this sitting around and whatnot, things start getting stagnant. Use the palm of your hand and really press. As you feel some pressure in there. You're not really massaging or anything. You want to get some pressure going. And again, I always tend to just go in one direction, downward away from the heart. All around here. Arms. So to add a little bit to this, make it maybe a little bit more interesting. I'm all over the place. We'll add a couple of pressure points. This time of year, I have allergies. I don't know if anybody else does, but it affects the sinuses and blah, blah, blah. And one of the best places to start with fixing the sinuses and getting them open is this press right in here. And you press. And it should hurt. But I can actually feel my sinuses opening a little bit as I'm doing this. Another way you can do this is take your thumb and first finger, get into here and press. And you can hear my sinuses are already starting to open. Of course, you want to do both hands. You just kind of press in here. this stuff to open up. And then one of the things that I've shown you guys quite a while ago, that maybe you don't remember, and probably maybe some of you have never seen this, but it's very, very good for your heart, and it's good for the sinuses. It's a pressure point from the nose. When you slide down to the cartilage, it's bone up here, and then it turns to cartilage, right down the crux here. So you slide your finger down until you get right on that cartilage, push in and wiggle, and you should feel pressure, a lot of pressure. And when you release that, you feel a flood of circulation come up. This actually helps the carotid arteries. This tells the heart to pump some stuff up. Whenever you put pressure anywhere, the heart only knows one thing: oh, send blood to that area. So you can see my sinus are starting to open a little bit, and swallowing, blah, 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 blah. This is really good for you. There's a lot of different sinus points that I could show you, but we're not going to get too deep into it. Anyway, you got to do both arms, so we're going to go through this, and I'm going to use the butt of the hand. Go through our routine. On the elbow. Elbow to the wrist. All around your wrist. And you milk the fingers right to the tips and pinch the tips. All right, and we're gonna do the legs. You want to get right up to the edge of the chair, get a foot forward, try to use the knuckles, start at the back of the knee, go right down the middle of the calf, and if you're not feeling any pressure, push harder. This should open some stuff up. It's the same routine that we go through, but you don't want to miss any of this. This is the stuff that really gets stuff opened up. Enough pressure on that calf, both of them. And both fists, the lower back. And the inside of the leg, you have to make sure you get right in there. And I tend to get right underneath and press up into it. So you're not just dit, 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 dit. No, get your thumb under there and press up in there. And again, if you're not feeling anything, press harder. There's always going to be some sore spots. Legs. I'm going to add another little pressure point for you guys. The spine is mimicked by the arch of your foot, or the arch of the foot mimics the spine, whatever you want to call it. If you look at an anatomical chart with the pressure points reflexology chart, you notice there's all the lower organs are up here, and then you get into the eyes and the nose and blah, blah, blah. So what you can do is you follow the arch on the inside here and just rub through here. And again, you might find a sore spot or two, but this actually sends circulation all through the spine. All these pressure points just send circulation. That's all they know how to do. You really get that stuff. And if you want, you can kind of squish your toes, pull the toes, and this gets a lot of stuff opened up too. This is where you can do a little bit of your own massage. Get your feet going. I don't know about you guys, but we're probably not doing as much walking as we need to do, not getting as much exercise. This is tough being isolated and shut in. So I'm going to do this foot too. It feels so good. So you get right in that inside, press underneath in there. You can move up to your toes. And believe it or not, I can feel my sinuses open up when I start working on the toes. So the stretching, I'm not going to take a lot of time with this, but you guys know what you're supposed to do. You have to get right up to the edge of the chair, put the foot forward, make sure you keep the knee bent, reach down, touch the toe. With every out breath, let yourself relax and let gravity bring you down. One, by the way, whenever you're stretching or doing any of the exercises, especially stretching though, you always give yourself a little bit of time between them. It allows that blood pressure to kind of even out. Stretching gets a lot of blood moving. Left foot forward. Reach, let gravity assist. Just let yourself fall into it. We'll take a break. Let that sit for a second. Then we're going to go through the three. So you put the right foot forward, about halfway to the side, and again, let gravity assist. Take a break. Give that a couple of seconds. And then the left side, halfway. Take a break. Let that sit for another couple seconds. By the way, I'm not going a full 45 seconds, I don't believe. If you're timing this, if you really want to get a good stretch, get a watch ready, and 45 seconds is all it really takes. And that gets affects a good stretch. So right leg all the way to the side. And again, don't fall off your chair. Reach for the toe. Take a break. Let's set a second. We'll do the other side. All the way to the side. Put yourself in your chair so you're not going to fall off. Take a break. Let that sit for a couple of seconds. And sit back. So, you know, if you really need something to do, there's this thing called television. And I've been told that a lot of people around where I'm living have been watching this. So, it gives you something to do. Although there are books. Books are a nice thing too. Anyway, we're going to get up. I'm going to take this chair, kind of get it out of the way. All right. So get yourself comfortable. And again, the next thing we're going to do, this bouncing thing, cup the fingers, make sure they're cupped. Make sure you just don't bring them any higher than the shoulders. And try not to bring them in or bring them out. One just straight line. And with the bounce, 1, 2, 1, 2, bring them up. Now, I know this thing is so much fun that everybody does this 4 or 5 times a day, but you only really need to do this once with your training. And I do want to mention, if you do have to get to the store for a short period of time, you got to get some groceries or whatever, this is not a good thing to do at the grocery store. People don't really understand this very much, so I would stop doing it. And take a break. Give yourself a few seconds. Gotta let everything kind of work in. By the way, you notice I'm shaking my legs loose. I do this all the time. Loosen them up. Okay, the 4 warm-ups, there is an amended thing that my teacher showed us. And what we normally do is both arms side to side like this. But if you find yourself stiff, and maybe this doesn't feel quite right, you can always just take your hands and just drop them, like this. It's lots of range of motion. There's absolutely no impact. You don't have to worry about your elbows. This gets the stuff moving. And if you're good and everything feels right, bring your hands above the heart, squeeze tight, open wide. And take a break. Give ourselves a little time. Okay, the second warm-up, always start with your first position, feet 4 or 5 inches apart. Lift the top of the head, tuck in the chin, tongue on the roof of the mouth, try to breathe through the nose to the abdomen. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair, tuck in the hip, lean to the right, take a comfortable step to the left heel, toe down, go all the way forward. Try to keep your front knees still, open the hip, close the hip. The arms should be hanging loose, and the hip will drive the arms. Take a break. Give yourself some time, let that relax a little bit. Shake your legs loose a little bit if you need to. And we're going to do the other side. So you go through the checklist. Always go through your checklist. Lifting the top of the head, tucking in the chin. Sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the left with the right foot forward. Wrap the toe, go all the way forward. Open, close. And take a break. By the way, I hope you all had a very good Mother's Day. It'll be a different one. All right. Of course, the next thing, the third warm-up, this is where you're going to need your chair. So if you need to, find your chair or anything that you can stabilize with. And we go through our checklist. Sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the left with the right foot forward. Bring your knee straight across from the hip. Just circles from the knee. Go in the opposite direction. And take a break. Take that time to relax, blood pressure change. We do the other side. Sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the right with the left foot forward, bring your knee straight across from the hip, big circles. Opposite direction. And take a break. Okay, the fourth one. You have to go through your checklist, sit, lean to the left with the right foot forward. Very important, you keep the toe firmly pulled toward the knee. Keep it there so it's the safety of the knee. You'll come straight up, straight down, and stop. And take a break. That's in a minute. The other side, sit, tuck in the hip, lean to the right with the left foot forward, pull the toe firmly toward the knee, let it drop. And take a break. All right, you can put your chairs back. And we'll give ourselves just a couple of seconds, extra seconds, to kind of let all that soak in, relax a little bit. Now the next thing we'll do is for the blood pressure, and this is where you start with the horse stance. So you go through your checklist, sit, tuck in the hip, left hand on the abdomen, palm up. Right hand on top, palm up. Interlock the webbing of the thumbs. Very important you keep that webbing together. That's the heat exchange. You breathe in, bring them up. Only to throat height. Turn to the left, breathe out. Back to the center, breathe in. All the turning is from the hips. The arms follow the hips. And as you can see, my whole upper body is just working in one big piece. The only thing that's turning are the hips. Everything follows. Or as my Sifu would say, your upper body should be like a tree trunk. And you go at your own breathing rate. You don't have to follow my speed. You notice I'm not turning all that much. You don't have to turn far. You have to do this long enough until you feel that arms get really heavy. And stop in the center. Breathe out, bring your hands down. Turn the palms over. Lean to the right. And let that sit. And you may notice in class, I'm always looking at my hands. I like to see the circulation that's happening. You can feel all that. And my teacher would say you want to take the time to feel what's going on. If you don't take the time to feel what's going on, you miss the taste of the honey. All right. Well, the next thing that we do is for the rotator cuff, for the shoulder. Normally I show you some of the other stuff, but I'm going to just do this the regular way we do it. And I have a tendency also, every once in a while, is to pull the arm out like this. And rotate. I can actually use my bottom hand to push the arm around so that the arm is completely empty. The opposite direction. And take a break. The other side, let that arm hang. I tend to put the palm forward. I think you get a little bit more stretch. Opposite direction. And take a break. Let that set a minute. Okay, the next thing is the stretch. Bring your palms together. Bring them back, as far back as you can. Open the shoulders. And bring them straight up. And bring them down. Keep the palms together. You can let the bottom part of the hand open a little bit, but keep your fingers together. Turn the fingers down, bring the wrists up, relax your shoulders. Try not to lift the shoulders. And breathe. And turn the palms outward, hands straight forward, open the back. and take a break. And a point I want to make, the breathing that we do in Tai Chi is part of what it's all about. This is very, very similar to yoga in as much as if you're breathing and getting more oxygen into your blood as you're stretching and going through all this exercise, you're getting more fuel for the muscles, and it's just a win-win situation. So the breathing is incredibly important. So you want to breathe as deeply as you can while you're doing this stuff. There's a tendency when you're stretching to hold your breath. Don't ever do that. Always try to keep your breathing going. Well, the next thing that we normally do is the stick. So if you want, take a couple of seconds, go grab a stick or rolled up magazine or whatever it is you have, and we'll go through a bit of the routine. This is a very, very good exercise with the stick. It's a very good way to tell if you've been drinking too much. Anyway. All right. Hold it between the palms and rotate. And the other direction. And take a break. And the next one. Come up. One hand stays where it is in space. Go straight forward. Straight forward. I tend to breathe out as I'm stretching. Breathe in as I'm coming back. One more, and take a break. Now is the straight up and down. One hand goes straight over, other one straight under. One more. Then reverse it. Top hand straight over, bottom hand under. One more. Take a break. Give yourself a couple of seconds. Relax a little bit. And next, we're going to roll the newspaper. You grab it like this. You go backwards. Forward again. Backwards again. And one more time forward. And take a break. I know a lot of you would probably like to do that a lot more, but that's enough. All right, this is the one everybody has so much fun with, the twirling a sword. Grab it in your hand like this, point it forward, turn the palm outward away from you, drop it in the back of the hand straight in towards you, and then turn on the inside forward. Go, back of the hand in, turn it, palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn, palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. One more. Palm out, drop it, back of the hand in, turn. That's it for a second. And the left hand, grab it like this. Forward, palm out away from you. Drop it, back of the hand in, straight in towards you, and turn. Palm out away from you. Drop it, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop it, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, and turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. Palm out, drop, back of the hand in, turn. One more. Palm out, drop it, back of the hand in, turn. Take a break. Now is the outside cut. So you grab it in the right hand again, point it forward, turn the palm up, straight up. Crank the wrist downward and then turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward to the outside over. We'll do one more. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Take a break. And the left hand. Point forward, palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. One more. Palm up, crank the wrist downward, turn to the outside over. Take a break. Just a little bit. And then between the palms, as far back as you can get it, side to side. And take a break. And both palms facing in, one on the top, one on the bottom, roll it. Opposite direction. And take a break. And between the palms, roll. Just go to the left right hand on top, to the right left hand on top. And take a break. Got it like this. And reach. Then press. And there's one more that I've discovered, and I find myself doing this with all this isolation, being alone for so many periods of time. You come up with some interesting things. I wonder if there's anything up there. I'm not sure. Anyway, we're going to put these things down. All right, for this particular video, we're going to just do a couple of last little things just to loosen up, open up. Fingers straight. Make sure you lift the top of the head, tucking the chin to stabilize the neck, and open. And straight forward. Shake them loose. Do the wave. Take a break. And the last thing we're going to do is the L. Left palm up, right palm out. L. Hold the hands. Back to the L. One more. Let your hands hang there, and again, you should feel circulation in the hands. Lots of stuff going on. Okay, we're just going to loosen up for the very last thing. One hand to the shoulder, one hand to your back. And take a break. All right, well, we're going to finish with that, with this particular video. And there will be another one that will kind of cover the second half, and we'll go through all the different stuff. We'll loosen up. I hope this was good for everybody. I hope everybody's getting through all this. This is really tough times. This is tough stuff. And it's going to be a very different new normal when we get back.